Hello, welcome to today's class. Today we will be covering the final 25 questions for the Geography Paper 3, December 2014 examination for CBSE NET. So let's start with the first question here. The first question is a kind of very direct question that asks you about which of the following Arab geographers was present or who served the court of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So that's a question which is directly asked from the section on geographical thought again. So Ibn Battuta was the geographer who served in the court of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He served for 6 years as a qadi or a judge. Okay. So he served as a judge in the court of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Now the next question here is you have to match the contribution of each of the planners. So Geddes gave the concept of conurbation. Okay, you have Corbusier who gave the concept of radiancity. You have Perry who gave the idea of neighborhood areas. And finally, you have Howard who gave the idea of garden city. Okay, so that's the correct match. This is something you will have to remember while you do the questions. Now, this is a kind of conceptual question. Who brought about a spatial dimension in the concept of growth? So we have covered all these classes in a separate session. So you can just subscribe to the Examrace channel and see the various theories that have been propounded for regional development. Among these theory, only Losch theory talks about the spatial dimensions in market. So it talks about the spatial growth and the regions in the market area. Okay. Then you have the next question. In the next question, what you have to do is you have to match the planning programs and the associated features. So you have the various planning programs and the associated regions. So you have the river basin, which talks about the command area. So you can match river area with command area. Okay. Then you have JNURM, that is the Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission, that talks about upgradation of urban infrastructures. Okay. Then you have the tribal area that talks about social and cultural sensitivity. And finally, you have the metropolitan planning areas, which talks about green belt. Okay, so these are the correct measures. Now, who suggested a new method to measure regional imbalances in the development and allocation of funds? So this research was done by Amitabh Kundu. He's a professor from the Department of CSRD in Jawaharlal Nehru University. So the correct answer here is D. Then is the question on community development program. So the community development program was launched in 1952 post-independence, and the main aim was to bring out overall development in the villages through means of providing self-help groups. Okay, so the correct answer here is C. The next question is you have to match the highest peak with the mountain ranges. So you have Guru Shikhar in Aravali's. So Guru Shikhar in Aravali's. Okay. Then you have Annamudai in Western Ghats. You have Dodabeta in Nilgiris. And finally, you have Deomalai in Eastern Ghats. Okay, so these are the correct match. That's a question from Geography of India. Now, Bangalore has grown up as a hub of information technology and ITES because it has a world-class infrastructure, power supply, and security. So both the statements are correct, and reason is a correct explanation for assertion. The only way we can see this is if you can connect the two sentences by means of word because or if, and if they match correctly. Okay, and if they make up some sense, that means reason is the correct explanation for assertion. The next question here is Golden Quadrilateral Express Highway is a project that connects 4 metropolitans, that's Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, and Kolkata, and it was not aimed to facilitate India's joining in the developed countries. Rather, it was a project that aimed to provide accessibility throughout the country, which connected the major 4 metropolitan cities and the intermediate cities. Okay, so assertion is incorrect, and the reason says it highly reduced the time, distance, and transport flow and boosted urban growth and non-primary activities. So that's the correct answer. So you have reason which is not correct and assertion which is not correct and reason which is true. Okay, so the correct answer here is D. In this question, you have to match up the language with the linguistic groups. So you have the various languages and the linguistic groups that are given. So Indo-Aryan people spoke the language that was Sanskrit. Okay. Then you have the Dravidian group of people that spoke Malayalam. Okay. You have the Austic group of people speaking Santhali. And finally, the Sino-Tibetan, or the people from the nearby areas of China and Tibet, speaking Lepcha. The next is Indus and Ganga are antecedent rivers that are correct. Okay, these rivers pass through very narrow and deep gorges in Himalayan. That's again a correct reason. So both their statements are correct, but they do not have any association intermediately. Okay, so the correct answer here would be B. That's both the statements are correct, but they are not mutually related. Okay, now let's move on to the next set of questions. The next set of questions here we'll start with the first question here. Which of the following locations is correct with reference? Sorry, I have moved to the last set of questions here. Okay, so we'll do this first and then move on to the other set of questions. Okay, so you have which of the following locations is correct with reference to the ground control points. So ground control points are the points that are marked in GIS, and these are the coordinate points which match the latitude and the longitude, and based on these points you can give the exact location of a point or a position. So these are known as the ground control points. So the correct answer here would be B. Okay, the next question asks you which of the following is not an outcome of GIS. So under GIS we study various modeling techniques. So we'll be discussing more in detail when we take a class on GIS. So binary models, index models, and regression models are the models of GIS modeling. Okay, except the iconic model. So the correct answer here is D. The next question is, which of the following circumstances Pearson's coefficient of correlation is used? Okay, so we use Pearson's correlation method only when the data is normally distributed. Okay, so when there is a normal distribution of data, we use Pearson's method of correlation. So the correct answer is when the data is normally distributed, and the choice is C. Okay, so these were the last set that we took up. Now let's move on to the remaining set of questions here. So you have the remaining set of questions here. Okay, so in this set of questions, the first question talks about matching the river with the origin of the river. Okay, so we'll start with the first river here. That's the Chenab River. Okay, so you have the river and its origin. So you'll have Chenab River originating in Chenab River originating in Great Himalayas. Okay, so it's Great Himalayas here. Okay, then you have Ganga originating from Gangotri. Okay, you will have Brahmaputra originating from the region in Kailash, north of Kailash. Okay, so you have the Kailash range and Brahmaputra that would match. And finally, Byas originates from Rohtang Pass in the region of Kullu Manali Hills. So you have Kullu Hills here, the region of Rohtang Pass, where you have the origin of Byas River. Okay. Next question is, what is the fundamental difference between shifting cultivation and contour farming? So that's a very important question to understand. What is done in shifting cultivation and what is done in contour farming? Under shifting cultivation, you have certain plots of land. Okay, what you do is you grow crops in one region and then you shift to the next region. You leave this region fallow for a few years. Then the soil replenishes again, and then you keep on moving, and finally you move back to the soil that has replenished. So that is what is shifting cultivation. Under contour farming, what you do is whatever the crop you have cleaned up from the shifting cultivation region is accumulated and formed as bunds, okay, in the plot itself. Okay, so you have bunding that takes place, and that is what happens. You demarcate regions, and there are contours that are formed artificially by collecting the waste that has been come up from the shifting cultivation. Okay, so you are kind of conserving the land, so it has highest environmental effect. Okay, so the main difference here is between the environmental effect of shifting cultivation and contour farming. So under shifting cultivation, you are leaving the soil fallow, and that is prone to higher erosion as compared to contour bunding. Okay, the next question is, you have to match out the plateaus and the region. So we know Ranchi is a region of Jharkhand. Okay, you have Shillong in Meghalaya, Shillong Plateau in Meghalaya. You have Bastar in Chhattisgarh, and you have Bandeir in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, so these are the correct matches. Now, in which of the following northeastern states do you have highest concentration of tribal population? So the correct answer would be Mizoram. Mizoram is the state which has highest concentration of tribal population. The next question says, arrange the cities from highest to lowest temperature. So the highest temperature is found in Jaisalmer, followed by Jaipur, Mumbai, and Bangalore. Okay, so this would be the correct sequence of answers here. So this is based on your mere general knowledge about the region. The next question is, women status in Northeast India is encouraging because participation of women in economic activity in these states is really good. So both assertion and reason are correct, and reason is the correct explanation because I can, as I did, I use the word because and I try to join these sentence, and this really makes out some sense. Okay, so I can say both of these are true, and reason is the correct explanation for assertion. The next question is, which of the following thematic maps is combined with complex themes? So what are complex thematic maps means? There are two or more parameters that you are using, but those parameters should have some mutual relationship. Okay, they should not be independent of one another. So in among all these four, which can be classified as those that have mutual relationship? So I can say the region which has dense forest cover has the potential for heavy rainfall. Okay, so I can kind of relate forest cover with rainfall potential. Okay, so if I draw a complex thematic map, I can use these two parameters. First can be forest cover and other can be rainfall potential. The region which does not have any forest, the potential of rainfall in that region would be very less. Okay, so I can kind of relate these two elements. So the correct answer here would be D. The next question is, which one of the following number of parallels with 1 degree interval can be drawn from pole to globe? So if I am drawing from pole to globe, okay, here what I can do is I can draw 89 lines, and here I can draw 89 lines, and there is one line that's equator. So 89 plus 1 is 90. 90 plus 89 is 179. So the total number of lines that I can draw would be 179. Now, which of the following does not represent a point data? Spot height, benchmark, and triangulation stations can all be located by point data. Only contours are the elements that are located as line data or continuous data. Okay, so the option here would be choice C. The next question is, which of the following satellite is used as a substitute of cadastral map? Now, what are cadastral maps? Cadastral maps are those maps which show a small region. Okay, so the region includes a kind of region for revenue purposes or plot boundaries. Okay, so these are the region. So if we want to correlate any satellite data with cadastral map, we need to have it at a very high resolution. Okay, at a resolution such that we can give detailed satellite imagery for at least each patch of land, okay, or each building on the land. Okay, so such high resolution data can be found only in ICONOS, that's given by United States. You have Landsat around 30 meters. You have inset around 2.5 meters to 10 meters. So you have all these which do not have that accurate resolution as ICONOS has. So the correct answer here would be ICONOS. Now the next question is, which of the following digital number is correctly matched with the byte value? So I can see 1 byte has 256 digital values. Okay, so the correct answer is 2 raised to 8. That's 256 digital values. So the correct answer here would be C. Okay, and the last set of questions we have already covered up. So these were the questions for paper 3 that we have discussed for CBSE NET examination for geography. We would be covering more questions and more fundamentals on physical geography in the further sessions. So just subscribe for the YouTube Examrace channel for further updates. Have a good day ahead.